It's just not such a pleasant experience. I just want to have a camper already, you know. This isn't going well. Hey everyone, my search for my first camper van continues, though not for long. And today I'll be sharing with you snippets from a couple more viewings that I did over the summer. But not only that, I thought that this would be a great opportunity to also share with you my top tips on how to prepare yourself for your first camper van viewing. Before the summer, I had never viewed a car or a camper van before, so I was feeling totally out of my depth, and frankly, I was dreading going to viewings and speaking to sellers. So for those of you who have also never viewed a car or a camper van before, especially if you're going on your own, I'm going to be sharing with you my top tips so that you feel better prepared and you know what to expect when you come to your first viewing. Hey everyone! Today is an exciting day because I am looking for a potential camper van conversion again. I was hoping to have a road trip. I don't feel that way anymore, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna go. I'm going all the way to the East Coast to a place called Deal, and I'm gonna be viewing a little mini camper. After that, I might be still going in completely the opposite direction, all the way to Southampton, which is going to be another 4-hour drive. I'm going to be viewing another Fiat Doblo as well. Let's hit the road because I'm going to be driving all day potentially today. Tip number 1, do your research. This might be quite an obvious thing, but I still wanted to include it here. Go on eBay, go on Auto Trader, Facebook Market, and compare prices of similar cars or camper vans so that you know more or less what the market is like. This way, when you go to view the camper van, you are going to have a better idea of whether it is fairly priced or whether you should try and negotiate the price. I'm getting stuck in traffic for the first time. I'm taking a route that goes through some A roads rather than going on a motorway, so I think it's gonna be like this for some time. I'm still 2 hours and 10 minutes away. Number 2, check the car's MOT history and advisories. You can check a vehicle's MOT history by going online. There is a government website. Alternatively, you can also use apps. This is really useful because it allows you to have a better understanding of the car's condition and the kind of repairs that have been or have not been done to it. When reviewing MOT history, pay particular attention to whether the car has ever failed any MOTs and why, and also review the latest advisories. Advisories are notes from a garage that performed an MOT that let you know of any areas that need attention or will need fixing, but are not serious enough for the car to fail its MOT. It's important to be aware of advisories because if you do decide to purchase the camper van, it might mean that you are likely going to have to pay for those things to be fixed at the next MOT. I've just shopped at Morrison's and I sound surprised because the last time I've seen this shop was, I swear, when I still lived in Cardiff, which was 8 years ago. I'm gonna call the owner of the first car to let him know that I'm coming, and then I'm hitting the road and I'm gonna try and drive for as long as I can, and then I'm gonna have to fill up probably before I get there, and I should arrive there around midday. Consider arranging an online viewing first, particularly if a car is in a remote location, which will mean that you're going to have to invest time and money to get there. It's a good idea to ask the seller whether they would be willing to either send you videos of the car or arrange an online viewing. Not everybody is going to feel tech savvy enough to do that for you, but it's always worth asking, and in my experience, people are always willing to go that extra mile and help you out. Oh my god, I'm so happy with the route that the sat-nav has taken me on because it's just the perfect route. I really didn't want to be on the highway, and I wanted to see some greenery and the beautiful landscapes, and this is exactly what's happening. Eat and pee before your viewing. I know this might be a weird one, but let me assure you that it's a very important piece of advice. There's nothing worse than driving to your viewing for 3 or 4 hours, arriving there and realizing that you're super hungry and you really need the toilet. And the last thing you want to be doing is talking to a stranger and viewing a vehicle. You really want to have that test drive. You really want to ask all the questions and have a proper conversation with the seller and get the feel for the car, but also the person that you're going to be potentially buying from. It's not a good idea to make rush decisions, so don't put yourself in a situation where you have to make a rush decision. So this is my last stop before I get to the place with the first mini camper, and I want to eat something so I don't have to make rush decisions just because I'm hungry and I want to pee. Same reasoning. And I also want to have a look at the MOT history of that car just to remind myself of the advisories on the last MOT. So I can ask about that, and that's also a good negotiation point if it comes to that. It's been actually a very good drive. I'm happy. It does feel like a road trip. Make sure that you've got the seller's exact address. Now, this may be a logistical detail, but the amount of times that I've arrived at the postcode from the seller and I couldn't find the location and I had to wait around, save yourself this time. And before you set off, give the seller a call and ask them where is the best place I can park when I arrive. So I've arrived, but this place is in the middle of nowhere and I can't find his house, and the gentleman I'm meeting doesn't have a mobile. So I'm trying to call this landline, but it's constantly busy. So I've been just sat here for a few minutes, kind of waiting. This is life, isn't it? Just sometimes you need to wait. I think I'm just gonna drive somewhere and maybe ask someone. They must know him. It's a small place. Oh God. I just want to have a camper already, you know. It turns out that the lady was speaking with her brother on the phone. That's why the landline was constantly busy. But I've just spoken with her and she said that she would come out on the road and meet me. So maybe finally I'm going to be viewing the van. Now, what to do when you're already at your viewing? Let's talk about rust. Rust is an issue that you should steer away from, but it might not be possible if you're looking for an older car or a camper van. Definitely have a good look around the car to see if there are any signs of rust, and make sure that you also look underneath. Use your phone and make a video of what's underneath the chassis, and I actually think that this is a better way than having a look yourself, because most likely your torch is going to be on and you're going to have a recording that you'll be able to look at in more detail. You'll be able to zoom in, you'll be able to review the whole thing, and also you'll be able to share it with your friends that can give you some advice. Whew. Damp issues. Damp issues are a very bad sign, and often they are difficult and costly to rectify. So if you notice any signs of dampness inside the car, then it probably means that you shouldn't buy it. So the camper that I viewed in Dover, well, in Deal actually, was a strong contestant, but the thing that annoys me the most in looking for campers is that if you find an already converted camper, in the budget typically that I look at, you're not going to have a high quality conversion. So I'm kind of thinking, is there even a point in paying more for something that I am not going to be happy with? The camper itself, the car itself was, I think, relatively good. It drove well. It was quite smooth. I liked the gearbox. It was quite quiet because it was petrol. The only thing that I'm struggling with is just getting over this idea that I'm going to be paying extra for something that I'm going to just be itching to change as quickly as possible. Yeah, a lot to think about, essentially. But I am very impatient to get my camper. Ask when the cam belt was last changed. Cam belts, also called timing belts, are an important element of the car that needs to be changed regularly, and they might be quite costly to replace. Usually it is advised that you change the timing belt every 5 years or between 30,000 and 60,000 miles, or whichever comes first. An average cost of replacement of timing belt in the UK is £350, but the price can vary from £200 to all the way to £1,200. If the timing belt has not been changed in the last few years, then it might simply mean that you might have to take on that cost when you purchase the car. And again, if that's the case, then that's a good point for negotiation. Same with tires. Ask when they were last changed, and if you see that they are worn, be aware that you might have to replace them when you purchase the car. And again, on that basis, you can try and negotiate the price too. I've stopped for coffee. I'm 45 minutes away from Southampton to see that other camper van. I am tired. And finally, ask about the number of owners that the camper van has had. The smaller the number, the better, because the higher the chances that the car has been better looked after. Also, if the car has been changing hands quite regularly, it might mean, not necessarily, but it might mean that there is something problematic with it, and hence people don't want to keep the car for a long time. Though remember that this is just good practice and it's not a hard and fast rule. It's 9:15 in the evening and I'm driving home. What a day. What a road trip. Second and last car that I saw today wasn't any good. It was really rusty underneath. So that was a complete no. Okay, so you viewed the camper van, what to do now? The only piece of advice that I have for you here is something that I've mentioned in my previous videos, and it is always follow your intuition. If you are not entirely sure, something feels fishy, something feels off, your intuition is not quite there with you, don't buy it. Or give yourself some time to think about it. Be honest with the seller, and if you feel like you need some time to think things over, then let them know and tell them that you're gonna get back to them. If you are on your own, call a friend and ask them to give you a second opinion. If you followed my campervan search odyssey, then you know that I received a lot of support from my friends, and it was invaluable because it saved me from literally buying the wrong car, the wrong camper, which would have meant a lot of trouble, a lot of lost time and lost money. These are my top tips on how to prepare yourself for viewing your first camper van, but this is not an exhaustive list, and I am sure that you guys must have some golden nuggets of knowledge. If you have any advice on how to best prepare yourself for a car or camper van viewing, then please share it in the comments down below, because you're gonna be helping me out and also other people in this community. And if you'd like to support this channel, the best way is to give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who would find it useful, or even consider subscribing to see more content like this. I honestly always appreciate it when I see you engaging. I love reading your comments and I always try and respond to all of them. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm gonna see you in my next one. Bye! Hi there, I'm calling regarding an advert. It was really nice speaking to you. I'm looking forward to meeting you on Thursday. I might actually be buying a camper without even viewing it.